everyone, and welcome to my channel. First, I want to say thank you for subscribing, and if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button. You don't want to miss videos to come. Here you're going to find clips all about fitness and nutrition, from techniques based on your skill level to simple recipes. I'm also an FNX ambassador, so I will share the products that I use as well as my reviews of each of those products. My own personal journey is what brought me into the fitness and nutrition industry. Personally, growing up, I always saw myself running a home daycare, but that changed in 2017. In August of 2017, I was diagnosed with celiac disease. I didn't know what it was, and I didn't know what I had to do other than cut out all things gluten. For those who don't know, celiac disease is an autoimmune disease that attacks a person's intestines when gluten is consumed. Gluten is a protein that is derived from wheat, barley, and rye. To the body, it is seen as a foreign species, and so it will attack the intestines, trying to protect us from this foreign species. This can also happen to those with gluten allergies and gluten sensitivities. At the beginning of my diagnosis, I was so lost and confused. I didn't know where to start or what exactly contained gluten other than breads, pastas, pastries, and like foods. I ended up falling into a 3.5-month funk. I kept asking myself, why me? Why now? Why did it take 27 years of my life to get the diagnosis, even though I had struggled with stomach issues my entire life? It just didn't make any sense to me. It wasn't until mid-December that I snapped myself out of this funk. I had done endless research on what celiac disease was, what items contained gluten that I had to cut out. Would you believe that even makeup contains gluten? Hair products contain gluten. Body washes contain gluten. Things that you would not think contain gluten, they contain gluten. It was really shocking to find the things that you wouldn't think containing it. I was also introduced to a program. I will not name the program, but this program is what got me started on my journey. What snapped me back into reality wasn't all the research that I had done, and it wasn't this program that I was introduced to. In fact, it was a glimpse of myself in the mirror one night. What I had seen looking at myself made me so disgusted and appalled. I just couldn't understand how I let myself go so much. I went from being the 125-pound high school girl and mom that I was after my first few kids to now weighing almost 180 pounds. It disgusted me terribly. So towards the end of December, when I had caught this glimpse of myself and realized just how disgusted I truly was with myself, that's when things began to change. I cut out all things gluten. I cut out dairy, as I am also lactose intolerant, and I cut out all carbs. For me, being as this was a new transition, I felt that the safest way to ensure I was cutting out all things gluten was to just cut out all the carbs. Little did I know later down the road, I would find out that my body, in fact, does not break down carbs like a normal person's body would. But that's for a later date. So this basically meant that my diet consisted of fresh produce, fruits and vegetables, of course, meats, and soy milk. Recently, I have changed to oat milk as I learned that soy can also contain wheat and gluten. The basis for my lifestyle change was to remain on the outer perimeter of my grocery store. And it has been a phenomenal help to this day. Processed foods, they were a thing of the past. They were out of my life, and I was happy for it. It was hard. I'm not going to lie. Anything that's good for us is going to be hard, but it's not impossible. I also began to work out. I started off slow, doing 20 to 30 minute workouts every other day to every day of the week. The easier the workouts got for me, I switched to more intense workouts. Eventually, I got to a point where I was doing workouts twice a day, with the exception of Sundays. Sundays were a no workout day. Instead, they were reserved strictly for meal prepping. Over the course of the next 10 months, I had lost 27 pounds and 30 inches. I went from wearing a size extra large to a size medium. Or if we're going by numbers, I went from a size 17 to a size 12. I felt amazing. I looked amazing. Even though the scale was telling me that I was still weighing 189 pounds, the photos of my progress were phenomenal. I did not look like I weighed 189 pounds. My stomach was almost flat again. I had more energy. I was able to run around, chase my kids around, get up and down from the ground, and all around enjoy all things life. It was great. During those 10 months though, although I was feeling amazing, I was able to do all kinds of things with my children and my family, I was still dealing with some stomach issues, and I wasn't sure what they were. I needed to seek out help, again, from a doctor. So I went to a second GI or gastrointestinal doctor for a second opinion. I wanted to know, was it actually celiac? Was it something else? Or was it a combination of celiac and something else? I also started to see an orthopedic surgeon due to my knees. Both of my knees were having pain that only continued to progress instead of regress. Even if I backed down on my workouts, it still progressed. So during all of this, I was told that I had to discontinue all of my workouts to have both my knees operated on. That truly sucked. When you get to a point where I was at, to be told, but now you have to stop. That's heartbreaking. It truly is. And it was. It really was. So this all happened in the fall of 2018. Come February of 2019, I had my first knee operation, and I opted to go with the right knee first. The doctor did a chondroplasty of the patella with a lateral release. He scraped out arthritis, and there was a lot of arthritis built up behind my knee. He also drilled holes behind my patella to allow for natural lubrication to get between the bone and keep bone-to-bone friction from occurring again. That's where my knees were at. Bone-to-bone friction. That's why they hurt and continue to progress in the level of pain as they were. Lastly, he repaired a slight meniscus tear that I had due to a childhood injury. Just a week after having had that knee operated on, I had to go see this new GI doctor, and he did both upper and lower scopes. What he found, or what he told me he found, was that I did not have celiac, but instead I had IBS or irritable bowel syndrome. Both suck either way you look at it. But he told me I could go ahead and resume a gluten-filled diet, but that I had to resort to the low FODMAP diet, as this process would eliminate symptoms of the IBS and help with the discomfort and pain that I continued to have. In May, my left knee was operated on. The doctor followed the same exact steps and process as he did for the right knee, with the exception of not having to do any kind of meniscus repair, as my left knee, it did not need it. So now, having had both my knees operated on, I could not work out for an entire year straight. That was rough. I wanted to do more than I was allowed. There were times I had attempted to do more than I was allowed, and I paid for it. For example, my kids were playing kickball at a birthday party. Mom wanted to join in because they wanted adults to join, and not many were volunteering. I kicked it, and even though before I kicked it I was feeling great and felt like I could do it, the aftermath, I couldn't do it. I ended up taking a trip to the ER at one point. This was not due to the kickball game, but in standing up too quickly, I had injured the section where the doctor did a lateral release, and I could not walk. I had to go to the ER. I was put in a full leg splint immobilizer. It wasn't fun. From then on out, Mom was not going to try to join in when I wasn't ready to join in. I was going to listen to the doctor and wait the full year before attempting silly things such as kicking a ball or trying to stand up fast. It wasn't in my cards at that point. Anyways, during recovery of my left knee, I learned there was a celiac specialist who was an hour from my house. I decided the hour-long drive would be completely worth it to find out for sure, do I have celiac or do I not have celiac? As switching to a FODMAP diet, it was not helping at all. In fact, I was feeling worse again. So, in the meantime, while I was waiting to see this new doctor, 2020 came around and we were getting to the point where I could start my workouts again. In February, I did start my workouts again. That was short-lived as I got sick with the flu and was down for a week. After that, I got back in for about a week. I was in working out at the gym and COVID hit. Gym shut down. That made it a little hard to do workouts being a mom of 4. As a family, we would take walks, and during that time I would utilize the area that we had so that I could work on running again. I got to a place where I was running / walking, alternating between the two, a mile in 19 minutes. It felt great. I was so ecstatic and I was like, yes, I can start preparing for a 5K and participate in my first ever 5K. Well, it was easier said than done. Again, COVID hit, gyms closed. Eventually, the school shut down. So the time that I had to continue working towards this 5K was now clouded, you can say, by Mom becoming the teacher at home. That wasn't a new role for me. I had taught in the past. It was just a role that I hoped I had never had to do again. That's neither here nor there. So I decided, you know what? Clearly, getting back into my workouts was not the plan at that point in time. So I took advantage of COVID. I signed myself up through the ISSA, or International Sports Sciences Association, and I began working towards my certified personal trainer certification. In May, shortly after I signed up, I earned my certification in weight management specialist. And then in October, I earned my personal trainer certification. A month later, in November of 2020, I got a call from my doctor, and it turns out that I do have celiac. I must go back to a gluten-free diet. And I'm not gonna lie, this time around, I think it's much harder switching the lifestyle than it was the first time around. I constantly am telling myself, you can't have that has gluten. But if I have it just once, it's not really going to hurt me. Lies. It's lies. Even if it doesn't physically hurt me, internally, it is hurting me. So it's been a struggle to switch back. I'm still pushing myself. I'm still keeping myself in that mindset. I will get there. I did it once. I will do it again. I have obviously gained back everything I lost before my knee operations. I gained back 27 pounds plus a little bit more. And I gained back my 30 inches, maybe even a little bit more than that. I've not checked recently. And that's okay. At one point, sure, I kind of slid back into a bit of a negative mindset, thinking, oh, this is going to take forever, or why bother, because I could make the progress again, plus some, to have to stop again. For a split second, I went there, but I didn't stay there very long. I looked at my progress photos from when I did drop my 27 pounds and 30 inches, and I was like, wait a minute, you dummy, you did it once. You can and you will do it again. So I am in the right mindset. Rome wasn't built in a day. I will get there. Enough about me. How about we now move on to my goals as a personal trainer? My biggest goal right now is to help others with chronic diseases such as asthma, celiac disease, IBS, Hashimoto's, diabetes, other autoimmune diseases, or chronic illnesses that have an impact on where you are in your fitness and nutrition journey. There are others out there that require a lifestyle change in how you eat, or a lifestyle change in your fitness. Whatever the case may be, I'm here to help you with that. I have been there myself. I'm still there. Not only will I be able to help you, but I will be on the journey with you. So this is going to be a progress from here on out for not only you, but for me as well. And I'm going to be your biggest cheerleader. Not only do I want to help others with chronic diseases and chronic illnesses to navigate their new lifestyle with fitness and nutrition, but I want to make sure that it's at a low cost that's affordable to you. There are many, many high-ticketed coaches, and while some of them I absolutely love to death, that's just not feasible for everybody. And those of us who have chronic illnesses and chronic diseases shouldn't have to suffer and be turned away just because maybe for whatever reason, financially, it's just not in the budget. For example, I have 4 kids. 2 of my children have to have braces. One of them just got their braces on. For the total span of the entire process of his braces, that's almost $6,000. not everybody can just drop $6,000 into a program. Now, at $6,000, that's about 6 years-ish, maybe five and a half, depending on the high ticket coach that you would choose. But that's about 5 to 6 years of training with one coach. That's also a lot of money. And like I said, I absolutely love a few high ticket coaches, and I have learned so much from them, and I am so grateful and thankful for it. But I want everybody to feel as though their health is important. I want you guys to not have to say, okay, well, I have to do this before I can put myself first. I put myself on the back burner for so long, and I always said, I have to put money here before I can put money here. And by here, I mean myself. We shouldn't have to do that. So that is why I aim to be a low cost and affordable trainer. That doesn't mean you're going to get anything of less value. You will still be packed full of valuable information, from your fitness regimen to your nutritional lifestyle that you have to live. But I want you to be able to say, hey, I can put this money into myself guilt-free. That's one of my goals. I also want you to know that you can reach your goals in fitness with little to no equipment at all. I started with nothing, absolutely nothing. Over time, I would add in some dumbbells of various different sizes. I got resistance bands. I got, a sweat towel. I was not about to use kitchen towel, so I had to have a specific sweat towel for myself for my workouts. So over time, I added little things, and they were inexpensive, so I didn't feel any guilt. But then once we got a gym membership so that we could go as a family, I got rid of it all. I sold it, I gave some of it away, and I was done with it because I had the gym at my fingertips. When COVID hit, I was back to nothing. I still pretty much have next to nothing for equipment. I have a stepper now, which I actually never had before. I have 5-pound weights. And then on my marketplace, locally on Facebook, I found somebody who had a barbell and some plates that they were giving away. Sort of giving it away. It was a woman whose husband was dealing with some health issues and he just couldn't do it anymore. So I kind of just threw out a little bit of money to kind of help persuade him to want to get rid of it because his wife so desperately wanted him to. That's irrelevant. But you can find those things for little to no cost on your marketplace if you absolutely would want it. However, any equipment that I'm going to use during your workout regimens, I'm going to tailor it so that you can just use household products. So maybe for 2 minutes, you're using a gallon of milk or a gallon of water or one of each. So you have like for one in each hand as your weight. If you have young children, there are ways you can incorporate your children as your weights to do your workouts. And I promise you, they'll enjoy it. My 5-year-old loves to do it. She giggles, she jumps in and helps. She sometimes reverses the roles where I'm the client and she's the coach. It is fun for the kids just as much as it's going to be fun for you.